You're listening to FooBar Weekly on KDSR, Demo Spin Radio, brought to you by ARC Network Live 365, the station where everyone deserves to be heard. The following program contains strong language and adult content. Listener discretion is advised. All suspects are innocent until proven guilty in a court of law.
We'll do it live. We'll do it live. Fuck it. Do it live. I'll write it and we'll do it live. Fucking thing sucks.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, and everyone and everything in between. FooBar Weekly Show. We do this every Tuesday night, 9 p.m. Eastern Time. Today, 14th of January. We're already halfway through the first month of the year. Believe that? Believe that?
Halfway through 2020. No, not really.
No.
Not really. Not even close.
Please slow it down.
Not even close.
And we've already had the first full moon.
Yes. That was a couple
An
days
actual
ago.
full moon, or did you happen to see when I was running around my butt hanging out?
No, it was the real moon.
I saw that. Tilt the microphone a little up towards your mouth. There we go. Perfect. Ladies and gentlemen, our guest tonight is paranormal researcher and professor Peter Bonk. It's an interesting last name. Where's it from?
It was invented by customs. When they read my foreign language name as it came through.
Okay, what was it? What was the foreign language name?
B-A-K.
Okay.
It's actually a very popular name.
Where from?
From Poland.
All right, I'm Polish too.
Are you?
Yeah. I'm also Lebanese, and when my Lebanese ancestors came over, they changed their names. It was Shaha and Wahhabi. They changed to Shaw and Wabi, W-O-B-B-Y. So the Polish name was simple enough. It was Cubis, K-U-B-I-S, and that they let that sail through them. Like, this is easy. Go. They come through Ellis Island?
Yes.
All right, mine too. Did they settle in Brooklyn?
No, they settled in Pennsylvania.
The Pennsylvania Polish.
Yes, coal miners.
Okay. My father is from an area in Brooklyn, New York called Greenpoint. It's a big, still to this day, is heavily Polish. So, us Polacks, you know?
Yeah.
Nikole Roger.
Hey, what's up?
How was your week?
My week was good. I started a new job that I really like. And
Nice.
I am happy doing it. And I have that job for a couple more months, at least.
Nice.
Yeah. And then other than that, I got booked for a new venue to dance at.
Nice.
Yeah.
We'll pitch that at the end of the show.
Yeah.
So the meat and potatoes, I'm excited to have this guest on tonight. We were talking a little bit before we went live, and then we realized we needed to stop talking about it because it was too good to not put on radio. Paranormal research. You when I asked you what you would title yourself, you said that there's no no like clear definitive title, right? So I just went with paranormal researcher.
Yeah,
it sounded the best.
You came up with my new title, and I'm going to
You
use
like
it.
that?
Yeah. Oh, I love it.
Dude, it's good.
Yes.
I mean, when you think about it, it's realistic.
I'm not a paranormal investigator. I don't go into haunted houses or houses that have supposed hauntings and try to capture evidence, give it to the client, and walk away.
Okay.
That's not what I do.
Well, the reason why I use the word researcher is probably due to, because I told you earlier, I'm a skeptic. So to me, everything it's research. It's finding out the what, the why, what's going on. You know, why is this going on? Whatever it is. So that to me, researcher sounds a little better. And you're right. Investigator does sound like you're ready for a Travel Channel, Sci-Fi Channel show. You know.
Yes.
Plumber by day, ghost hunter by night. I actually like that show. I like those guys. It was entertaining, at least. What I hated about that show was the sound effects they would put. So you're like listening, trying to hear something, and they would add sound effects in. I'm like, stop it. Just fucking stop it.
Yes.
Irritating. You gonna say something?
No.
Okay.
I mean, later.
I mean, there's a microphone in front of you. You can.
Right now.
Yeah, why not?
I don't have anything to say right now. I don't have anything to say. I'm a listener.
So like I said, I'm a skeptic, and you said you were a skeptic until just a few years ago, right?
Well, I have half of my PhD done on research foundations, and so I use scientific method as much as possible on these things to determine what I can relate to in the physical world, whether I can photograph them, record them, and somehow create something in reality that represents the other dimension, as you called it on the heading day.
Yes. And to me, I've never. Well, I told you I had one experience in my life, and I could see. I just mentioned that you're like, oh, I want to know what this is. I want to know what it is, and it was actually pretty crazy. How real it was is up for argument. But I aside from that one experience, I've never had anything else, and I've been around some really places of intense trauma and death and all kinds of bad things I've been around, whether professionally or personally, and I've never seen anything. I've been in places where people were brutally murdered and nothing, zero. So I'm very skeptical.
You've spent your whole life teaching yourself how not to see. That's what's happened. You were born with that ability. But parents, peers, religion, government has all taught you how not to see.
I agree with that because I'm a firm believer that you're only going to see something if you believe it or you want to see something. And if you don't, then it's going to not show itself to you.
Okay, here's where I got to disagree with that, because there have been some times where I really wanted to see something and didn't see it, if you know what I mean. And you know what I mean.
But you meant it like in a skeptic way. Like you're like, I want to see something because I want it to be proven to me.
Well, but and that's the thing that's what I was getting at is, in my lab, I'm very experienced in investigations involving crime and fraud and things that I can say, okay, this happened, this is what they did, this is why they did, this is how they did it, this is either there's a crime or there's a fraud. So everything is tangible facts that I can see or hold or easily, not sometimes easily, but I can prove it and concrete prove it. And that's probably why I'm skeptical, because to me, or at least in my messed up brain, something can happen that you can't explain. A whisper, whatever. I'm just using because again, I've never experienced anything. To me, if the door just started moving, there's got to be, to me, a mechanical reason why that happened. It wouldn't be. It'd be a breeze, a draft. I've been in some buildings where the cockroaches made the doors close or open. So there's, to me, there's got to be something like that, and I got to find out what it is. But I've never been in a situation where something happened like that, and I couldn't explain it.
Well, part of what you've been taught in how not to see these things is to make them into something else. So you'll look at some bright little light, and one person might say that's a fairy, but you'll look at it and say it must be a piece of dust catching the sunlight.
Okay,
but you'll find the alternative because that's the way you've been taught.
True. And that was the thing I think you and I had mentioned about using that show Ghost Hunters, when they say it's an orb. No, It's a piece of dust reflecting off of a infrared night vision cam. Yes. And I've used night vision cameras extensively. I've stared at them for hours. I've stared at black and white screens to the point I can see color on them now. And to me, it's okay. It's dust, and I've never seen it where it was so peculiar that I would look at it and be like, "There's no way that's not dust. It's got to be something else." To me, it's always dust because dust happens. Even in clean places, dust happens.
Yes.
So that's to me, I like. So that's where I'm at. That's where my brain's at.
I have like a little bit of believing of both, in that maybe it's a piece of dust, but maybe it showed itself to you at the right moment, or whatever.
Could be.
Well, there's a common concept on my site that gets used by a lot of members called pareidolia.
Okay.
And pareidolia is the tendency of the human brain or the human eye combination to make a face or out of something that is completely random. So they'll see one member will post a video or a picture, and it'll show faces in trees or in leaves, and someone will comment pareidolia. My theory is that pareidolia happens because you're already inclined to see those spirits. Everybody doesn't see the same pareidolia.
Okay. All right. I've known that phenomenon as matrixing is what I've heard it as.
Okay, and the scientific term is called unconscious interference.
Okay. Wow, we just came up with 3 names for the same thing. This is good. Maddie, one of my listeners. So in other words, my ex who talks to fairies was talking to dust in the air. Maddie, what that depends on is what kind of drugs she did prior to speaking to the fairies, if she did them at all.
Do you see his next comment? Yeah.
How do we explain the dust talking back? That's why I have him here. See,
Yes.
I can say that's a piece of dust floating, but when you start hearing voices,
Roger, I'd have to disagree with you there. Whether it was drugs or not, those fairies were real. Psychedelic drugs help you see things that you've been trained not to see.
you know what? In some of the situations I've been in life, I don't necessarily know if they were truly spirits they were seeing. They were seeing some shit, but I don't know if they were spirits or just. When you asked earlier, about saying crazy things. I mean, I've seen people on psychedelics saying some really crazy things.
Seeing things that you couldn't see when you looked at the same spot.
True, but knowing that they were on psychedelics, and at one point in my life, having taken psychedelics, it's I don't necessarily know if it's actually something they're seeing or if it's the drugs they see. And
I feel gypped that I've never seen anything crazy on psychedelics.
They didn't take enough.
They're
still normal.
The only psychedelic I ever took was mushrooms, and I had a bad trip because my brain is scary, and I saw scary things and stopped. I'm like, I can't do this. It's like,
but you told yourself, you had to tell yourself this is fake because I'm on drugs, and then you were strong enough to keep doing it.
Oh no, I started freaking out. Like people had to hold me down and shit. It was
that
just a bad
same
time.
fear, Roger, that's stopping you from seeing those things now. You could if you wanted to.
See, here's the other thing I'm thinking of. Spirits are all around that they can see us all the time. Like
millions.
Here's where my brain is.
Yes, they watch you jerk off in the shower.
That's exactly what I was going to get at.
That's the answer.
Like what do spirits stand there like? Do they laugh at it because it's Irish? I mean, what are they doing? But now I'm creeped out. Now, God, Nikole, now you just ruined the shower for me. Thank you.
No more waffle stomping for you.
Well, no, that's something completely different. I don't care if they watch that. But no, maybe I see what you're saying, that I've shut off my desire or want to see things from that angle. I can see that. Again, unless I see something. Now, the experience that I had, actually, let's go to Nikole. Mine was kind of weird. Nikole, what? You want to talk about an experience you've had?
I've had lots of experiences. I don't remember any of them. No, not any of them.
How do you know you had?
Okay, so
don't do drugs.
Don't do drugs.
Don't do drugs.
So when I was a youngin', before any of the drugs that I had taken, I was laying in bed with my back to the wall, and my bed was in the corner of the room, and so I was laying with my back to the corner, and I was leaning on the wall, and I was sleeping. And this is maybe one of those things that's something came to me in a dream, if you will, and it's also what I forgot what to call it, but when you get startled awake and your body jumps awake for no reason because you think you're falling or whatever, or you dream you're falling. So I'm laying with my back against the wall, and all of a sudden I feel hands in my back, and they push me off of the bed, and I roll off of the bed, even though I was laying against the wall. So that was one of the things that I remember. One of the other things that I remember too is my grandma passed away a couple years ago, and I have a lot of her things in my house. I have a lot of her sewing things and things like that. And a lot of times I make costumes and I sew and everything. So a lot of times I will be thinking that I'm I need this specific type of needle, or I'm looking for this color button or whatever, and I can't find it. I'm going crazy. And then, I'll stop and think about it for a second, and then I'll maybe open a drawer that I had already opened before, and it's she showed me exactly what I needed for this piece of art or whatever, or things like that. So there's a lot of things that I see in my everyday life that I think are supernatural. Yes.
Strange things.
And then I've also had so that was one negative experience, and that's a positive experience. One of the other things too is that after my cat had died a couple years ago, she used to always sleep on my feet, and on top of the covers sleep on my feet. And so for a while there, I thought that I was still feeling the pressure of her sleeping on my feet. And one time I even thought that maybe I saw her get off the bed and run away. But obviously that was not the truth because I already knew that she was gone. So some, a couple of things like that. One time in the house that I used to live in, our first night there before we had moved our furniture and everything like that, I saw a light come from the living room, come over, come into our bedroom, and go into our closet and disappear. And you would think maybe it's a car passing by or something like that, but there was no cars outside. There was nothing. So just different things. I experience things on a regular basis to the point that sometimes I'm just like, it's just my friendly ghost in my house or whatever. Like,
See, and what's funny, that's the way my wife is. My wife is seen, the building where she works in. They, some of her coworkers and her are in agreement that there's a ghost that messes with them and moves beakers, and she's a scientist, so she'll then move beakers and stuff or turn music on or whatever.
And there's been times where I've been at Barnes and Noble after closing, and books will fall off the shelf for no reason, and they're like, oh, they must have slid because somebody didn't stack them right or somebody didn't shelve them right. But our shelves are tilted backwards slightly, so it doesn't make sense why they would just fall forward. But whatever.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
You're in touch with the spirit world, Nikole.
I believe that it's around me all the time, but I'm not like losing my mind over like I have to talk to them. I have to get rid of these spirits. It's like they're just here. They're all just around us, and if they're messing with us,
life.
Yeah, they're just part of life. They're just around us.
Well, Maddie said, going off what I said before, why do you think most of them stay in purgatory? Free porn for eternity. You don't get that upstairs or downstairs. You might get it downstairs, just not the kind you want. Sounds a lot like a phantom limb. That I've heard about, and I know some people that are amputees, and talking about the cat, still feeling the cat.
Yeah. I have dreams about animals that have passed. I have dreams about my Greyhound Kona. I have dreams about Fajita, my cat. After my mouse died, I had a dream that it's mostly like dreams, like in dreams that stuff comes to me. And I had this dream that my mouse died and I buried her in the backyard. And then I had a dream that she like crawled her way up and told me I was a bad pet owner. But that's just my brain. That's just my brain thinking about those things. So.
All right.
Yeah, that's it. And then on top of that, I have all the things like the physical things that people like tell me that they feel energies from and things like that.
But you don't feel those energies.
Sometimes I feel different energy. Sometimes I feel a energy and I don't know what it is sometimes. And then sometimes I just get meat. Yeah, sometimes.
Try not eating meat and you'll see a change.
You think so?
It happened to me.
Okay.
I stopped eating meat. 3 days later, I started feeling things in places in my body that I had never felt before.
Okay.
And correlated them to spiritual activity.
Okay.
It's really cool.
I got to be honest with you. If it came down to seeing spirits or eating bacon, bacon's winning in my book, man.
Why not both?
Tempeh bacon.
That tastes like
good.
lies and sadness.
I can make it.
That's lies and sadness.
I've had bacon made from sliced carrots. It was good.
Maddie's jumping in. Hey, Rod, just a heads up. Hunter's back in the hospital. Yeah, I was talking about that before we went on the air. So everybody who wants to send some kind words to our friend Hunter, young man with Duchenne muscular dystrophy. He's in a rough spot. I don't know if you're familiar with Duchenne's. It's a disease that affects mostly males. Typically, they don't live very long. This young man's actually, I believe he's 21 now, and he's having a rough spot. They had to fly him to Duke Hospital. And, so everybody, if you're a praying kind, send some good juju over to Hunter and the family. I don't think Hyacinth's gonna be listening tonight, but we love you, Hi. We love you. Love you, Maddie. One thing I want to tell you, if you got some time and you're still in Brisbane, there's a comedian that I did some work with here from New York named Michael Harrison. He's going to be in Brisbane the next couple nights. If you're free at night, go see him. That's all I have to say about that.
Okay.
So what were we saying before that? And I wanted to drop that before Maddie goes to work.
Thank you for joining us, Maddie, even if it's just for a little while occasionally.
Yeah, he's in Australia. It's morning time, so he's getting ready for work. So anyway, what were we saying right before I dropped that?
Don't eat meat, bacon.
Yeah, don't eat meat, bacon. Yeah, I don't know, man. I like bacon.
Fasting is good too. There's a reason why Jesus went into the desert for 30 days without eating.
Because he didn't have a map with GPS.
No. Put you closer to the spirit world. Digestion takes away so much.
Yeah, but it feels so good. meat is greater than sadness. I got to agree with that.
I've got some notes on the site.
Okay.
I titled them "How to See Ghosts and Spirits."
What is your website? So if the people want to check it out.
Florida Everything Paranormal. It's a Facebook group.
Okay.
Florida Everything Paranormal.
Yes.
Okay.
And you have to be careful because there's a couple with the same name. You know how Facebook is.
Yeah. Just look for the one that's led by Peter.
Yeah, it's got a big old house with an orb in front of it.
There you go. I'm also in that group. So if you look at it, it'll say, Roger Nelson is also a member. That's the right one. That's actually the only Florida paranormal group I belong to.
Florida
Yes. Everything Paranormal.
Florida Everything Paranormal. Okay.
Yeah, we're growing at about 100 members a week. We're currently at a couple thousand.
And I've been so busy the past couple weeks, I haven't been able to really look at it. But it seems like it's a pretty decent community. Everybody seems to get along and is trying to foster, dialogue and investigations. But I hate whoever that person was.
They do it every day.
I know.
Every day.
One of these days, I got to invest in soundproof windows and air conditioning. Apparently, air conditioning's off tonight, and it's not conducive to being fat. So everybody, check out that group. Go into it, and so anyway, back to the stuff. So my experience, which I know you're like you want to know. So I don't know how you feel about this. It involves a Ouija board.
Oh, I have a Ouija
And a
board
bunch
story
of
too,
college
but you-
students. What's that?
I have a Ouija board story too, but you go first.
Okay.
So.
And a bunch of college students. We may or may not have been under the influence of drugs and or alcohol at the time. But first of all, the school we went to, it was a private Southern Baptist college. So everything was Jesus this, Jesus that. So we decided we're going to get a Ouija board and play with it.
Even though you knew that was evil.
Oh, no, I just went to that school to play football.
Oh, okay. But the Ouija board was evil.
It turned out to somewhat be, although I don't think we necessarily opened up a portal to hell. Obviously asking questions and asking questions that really only the person who was asking the question knew the true answer, and the true answer was showing up. I don't know how much weight you put into those things, but some weird things started happening this one night where we had a bowl that we would throw cigarette butts in, and we would basically empty the ashtray after it's been, full. We'd dump it in there. All of a sudden, out of nowhere, it just burst on fire. Like it ignited. It wasn't smoldering first. It just ignited. So that was weird. And I think it was the same night. So that very same night, like a couple other weird things I don't remember. I remember it was just a weird night. But what stuck out to me in my brain is we asked the spirit we were talking to his name, and the name kind of stuck. And I don't think I researched what the name meant back then, but a few years later, I remembered something sparked my memory. The name was Zamiel. Zamiel. It spelled it out Zamiel. So
sounds like an angel name.
It is. Do you know which angel it is?
Let's see.
The only spelling close I found, it wasn't the exact spelling. It was somewhat similar.
I'm thinking of the Kabbalah tree and where he fits.
So similar sound, different spelling. I don't necessarily know if we have to give the spirits a spelling bee.
Angels are really cool. They want to do everything you want them to do. They are just so eager to please.
This was an angel, and I pulled up the Wikipedia, because Wikipedia is the knowing all thing.
Yeah.
The name that was the closest is actually Samuel, Samael. According to this, Hebrew, poison of God, blindness of God. An archangel in Talmudic post-Talmudic law, a figure who is the accuser, seducer, and destroyer. Although many functions usually associated with Samuel resemble the Christian notion of Satan, he is not necessarily evil, since his functions are also regarded as resulting in good, such as destroying sinners.
Many people say the same thing about Satan.
True.
He was just another angel.
Maddie called that before you said the name even.
Are you fucking kidding me? Well, did it actually pop up beforehand?
Yes.
We are fucking psychotically linked, man. across the ocean and a continent and a bunch of islands.
He's on the other side of the world.
Boomski got it in one.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He wrote it before you said it out loud.
Maddie, were you there, you silly bastard? Oh, I'm sorry. Wait, he's Australian. You fucking wanker. Is that right for Australian?
So what did Zaniel do for you?
Didn't do anything. That was the end of it. Like that, I think we all freaked
So
out.
you
at that
never
point.
asked him to do anything.
Hell no. At that point, we were all freaked the fuck out, probably high, and we were like,
You had
just know.
all of that power in your control. I could have done anything for you, and you didn't do it.
I know. You believe that? So nice of
You
me.
could be the ruler of the underworld right now, Roger.
You could.
You let that opportunity slip away.
could be the ruler of the overworld.
Yeah, I mean, I think at the time, because we, like 18, 19-year-old college students.
Have you ever read the book The Secret or Eckhart Tolle's Power of Now?
I play
Or the
football,
Celestine
man. I don't read. What?
Sorry, I have the audiobook playing in my house right now of The Secret, and also I finished reading The Power of Now not that long ago.
We'll just say the books that I read have pictures in them with glossy pages, and not
okay.
really books.
Oh, and it's full of angels.
Yes, indeed. Why did you not ask the angel of death to off my ex? 2 reasons, Maddie. Number 1, I didn't know at the time that she was going to be your ex. And number 2, I'm pretty sure I'm a little bit older than you, and I'm pretty sure you and possibly your ex may have been in like elementary school at the time. So that would probably yeah, killing kids, not my thing, man. Not my thing. Sorry. I have limits. All right. There are limits on what things I will and will not do.
You will corrupt them, but not kill them.
Exactly. And only my own. I will only corrupt my own.
Fair enough.
Because it's not nice to mess with somebody else's kids.
Good to see you are so positive and full of love.
See, I have morals and standards.
You really do.
That's good.
You really do.
Thank you. So anyway, so that's the experience. Probably not as juicy as you were expecting, but like looking back at like that whole night, and I can't remember all the details. And this is 25
As a
years
Baptist,
ago.
you have been taught that
I was actually raised Catholic.
Oh, that's
Again,
even worse.
I only went there to play football. Now I was raised Catholic.
You've been taught about spirits being so evil and demons and all these other things out there to scare you and control you.
Only if I
And
paid
it's-
attention, it would have taught me that.
And it's worked. You have not seen anything in your whole life because they taught you now not to.
Except I don't go to church.
You don't need to go to church to see anything.
I'm
That's
sacrilegious.
Did you
what
go to
they're
church
doing.
on Christmas with your family?
I have not been to church on Christmas in
Or Easter or
probably
whatever.
close to 20 years. Same thing.
Okay.
The last time I was in a church was my grandmother's funeral in 2016. Prior to that would have been my father's funeral in 2011. And prior to that, whoever died before him.
I have a personal question. It's
Okay.
okay if you don't want to answer it. Do you ever ask your dad or your grandma for help, or talk to them and just be like, I really wish I could talk to you in person and get your advice right now, or whatever?
Yes and no. See, the thing is, yes, I think what would my father do? I don't ask him, I don't say, hey, Dad, give me help, because I know the way my father is, and he'd be like,
figure it out.
You're smart, you fucking figure it out. Or he'd just look at me and shake his head and you're a dumbass. And just that was my dad. And I miss my dad. I wish he was still here. He was probably one of the most intelligent people I ever met in my fucking life. I mean, this guy was like Jeopardy smart. Like you could ask him anything. The thing that blew my mind about him, you could ask him, hey, Dad, July 7th, 2037, what day of the week is going to be on? Without even thinking, boom, he would know it. You could look it up. Perfect. Every time. Like that just blew my, I don't even know what today is.
It's Tuesday. We're here in the office.
No, date. I know today's Tuesday.
14.
Yeah.
So
but that's the thing. Like he was so intelligent. So I would always think, what would my father do? But I'm almost afraid to ask, hey, Dad, give me some help. Because what I would feel would probably be a sharp strike of reminiscent of a leather strap across my ass. Would probably what I'd feel. That would be the answer.
Your father didn't teach you very much love, so we need to find somebody else.
No, he taught me love.
He taught you love.
He taught me a lot of. My father was a great guy.
But we don't want the kinky kind.
No, not that kind of belt across the Jesus. We're from New York, not Alabama. Come on, man.
I talked to my grandma.
Was that what you meant by
I
saying
do.
fucked up thing, like crazy things? Because that was pretty. I like that. That was good. I like this guy.
That's our cup of tea.
So
Yes.
What about your grandma?
No, I just, like sometimes I need advice and I I meditate on it and I think about what she
you
would,
meditate too. Wow.
not like actively, but like only if I need to. Not like every day, but only if I need to.
Does she whisper in your mind the answers?
No, I think about, not literally, not so directly, but I think about how she would have reacted to a situation, and I think about how her personality would have reacted to a situation, and I try my best to act in that way.
Mhm.
And I feel like her influence is there, but it's not so literal as she's telling me what to do.
Mhm.
It's like a, I don't know, whatever. It's an energy thing.
That's okay.
Yeah.
They don't use much English over there.
Yeah. Over there on the other side.
Yeah, the other
Yeah.
dimension.
Yeah. Well, she didn't speak too much
Then
English.
what do they speak?
They speak through feeling, through energy centers in your body, in different ways. It's much more primitive, more pure.
Like the aliens in Independence Day.
Yes.
All right.
Yeah, exactly.
Since we're talking about energies for a moment, can I do my thing real quick with him? Or if not, that's fine.
Do what you want to do. It's your
Okay.
world. I'm just swimming in it.
So once we're on the topic of energies, I brought 3 items and I want you, not good or bad, not any kind of like, there's no right or wrong answer. I just want you to tell me what you think about those items and like what kind of energy you're feeling from it. Is that okay?
Absolutely.
Okay.
I like to practice doing that in antique stores.
Okay. So I have 3 items. Which do you want first? In any particular order? Like,
Doesn't matter.
okay. So
I was supposed to bring something. I forgot.
it's okay. I actually want to give you this item first.
Mm.
Is there a process or is it just like how you feel?
It involves the feelings I feel in different energy centers in my body
Okay.
and the thoughts that pop into my mind. Sometimes it's images, sometimes it's people. I see this as old. I don't know what it looks like. I'm not, but as in, wow, got a guy riding a horse popping into my mind. Was he a rancher or a cowboy? Feeling the earth in my solar plexus, so he was in touch with the earth a lot. I'm feeling this up here too. What's going on with his ears? That's pretty much what I have on this guy.
I don't know the history of this specific item. I just know what people have told me about it.
Okay.
So I'm wondering about that. I've had 2 people, it was gifted to me. And one thing is my dog always barks at it. And then the other thing is that I had a friend.
Oh, because he yelled a lot. That's what I'm feeling in the throat chakra.
Maybe.
Yes, he was very loud and mean.
So, and then the other thing is that my friend who practices talking to people on the other side, he didn't want to touch it. He didn't want to touch it. So I was like, that's interesting. He recommended I clean it with sea salt water under a full moon. So the other item I have here.
Sea salt water.
So the other item I have is this. And you can take a look.
This is my receiving hand. This is my transmitting hand.
Sure.
Okay, so I immediately got the feeling of a World War I soldier or a vision, not a feeling, in a khaki green, that jacket they have. He had dark hair. Wow, and he's either showing me his mother or his grandmother with gray hair. One of the problems we have over there is there's no time and space, so syncing it up to what we're into right here sometimes is different. I'll go from him at one age to his wife maybe at a completely different age. I think it's his mother though. A message he wanted to get to her, but when he died, he died in World War II. Sorry.
Keep going. I'll adjust it. Just relax.
That's about it. What I got on that.
This is my best friend's grandfather's keys from his job when he worked at a steel mill.
Okay, so I wasn't very close.
I have no idea. I have no idea what, because I've never met him.
Uh-huh.
She gave this to me yesterday, and she was like, "This is something very special to her." So I wanted to see, like, I wanted to feel that. So I don't know if K2, if you're out there listening,
We love you.
we love you. So
Let us know.
yeah, let us know what's up.
Is he at least a war veteran?
I have no idea, honestly. And then the other item is this. You can hold that, you can wear it, you can do whatever you need to do with that.
It's warm. It's nice and soft.
What is this butter? This is nice.
Tells me it was from a soft person. It's got a badge on it.
But the badge is just something I stuck on, honestly.
A badge with a third eye on it.
Yeah.
Do you wear that badge?
Sometimes, yeah.
Earthy colors. Soft and earthy colors. I'm not even into the third eye yet. I'm just using common sense on it.
I can tell that you have a good feeling about this one. I can see that it
Yes.
makes you smile.
And calm and serene.
Yeah.
Yes,
Okay.
it does. But I can't tell you whether she's in a past or it's a she. I guess I've said that.
Yeah. Yeah.
I can't tell you whether she's past or she's here. But I do feel a lot of calmness, sereneness, earth contact with the earth, and spiritual beliefs. Obviously, would be on her scarf. Did she lend you this for this session tonight?
No. This was my grandmother was teaching me how to crochet. So I made part of it and she also wove part of it and then I completed it.
Oh, so which part did you do?
A little bit of here.
You
a little
didn't do
bit of
that part, did you?
I did. I did. I
I've
did
been
all of
learning
it.
to crochet myself, so
Uh,
that's why I'm asking.
Yeah.
Very nice. Very nice. That's about all I can tell you about your scarf.
Okay. That's all. I just wanted to see what you like. Like I said, no right or wrong answer. I just wanted to like see what you felt from them and things like that. So
Yeah, I'm from that sense. There's a name for that. I should Google it. For being able to determine facts or history or people just from an object. There's a specific name for that. I find that more fun to do than practical.
yeah, for sure. I can see
But thank you for bringing those in.
No problem.
Really cool. Really cool.
Good job, Nikole.
Thanks. I try.
I'm glad you remembered because
Now, what about you? Can you do that?
It depends. Not with everything. Not with everything.
But with some things you can.
Yeah. I have a sculpture at my house that I just named him Ugly Jug. It's an ugly jug. And I saw it at a craft fair, and out of all of the other things that were there, that's the thing that just said, "Take me home with you." And I later found out that that type of sculpture is meant to scare away like evil spirits and protect your house. And that's what I needed at that time because I had moved into my own place at that time. So it just said, "Take me home with you." And then I was like, I didn't know what to do. And I was
me home tonight.
That's what it said. And it was at my college. And so then I like ran home and got cash because they were only taking cash at the craft fair. And I was like, please still be there. Please still be there. And sure enough, I came back and it was, and I took it home and I've had it ever since.
Wow. Really cool story.
Yeah. So there's some things that like really speak to me. Sometimes there's things that I'm like, okay, like, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't think there's much attachment to that.
Yeah.
I'm kind of attached to it just because it's my favorite emoji.
So
I love
do
chocolate
things-
ice cream.
Do things ever speak to you, Roger?
People.
No,
That
things.
no, I've never.
Inanimate objects.
No,
No.
not that I could think of.
It tends to be more of a woman thing than a man thing.
I would actually say the only inanimate object that I could probably communicate with, I would say, would be any car I'm driving. Like I talk to the car talks to me.
And it's always
not
a
so
she,
much-
right?
Of course, 'cause you got to treat her like a lady. But no, it's I would say that would probably be the only thing. So I don't think it's any so much of a spiritual connection as like, I can feel what the car is doing. I can feel what the car, whether the car's happy, not happy. Like that's really, I mean, as far as like energy from objects, I really can't think so. Can't think of anything.
Mm-hmm. And just out of curiosity, do you have any color blindness?
Nope.
Interesting. So you see colors very well.
Yeah.
Okay. Because 50% of all men have some sort of color blindness issue.
Yeah. And last time my vision was checked, it was perfect.
Perfect vision.
I mean, I memorized the eye chart and fired it back at the woman taking the thing, but couldn't do that now. So I was marked with perfect vision. No, I'm actually nearsighted.
Oh.
But my vision's not so horrible where I can't see detail.
And
far out.
what do you see when you close your eyes, or you sit in total darkness?
See, that's the thing. My whole life, there's been one thing I've seen consistently when I close my eyes, and I don't know if it's something with my eyes, something with my brain, or maybe it is some sort of energy. But I don't always see it, and I see it often. And the best way to describe what it looks like is, I guess I see it in colors, but think of raindrops hitting still water, like circles on a level as if it was the ground. So as my eyes are closed, it's almost as if it's the ground I'm looking at.
And you're seeing this with your eyes closed on
Yeah.
the back of your eyelids?
Yeah.
That's quite amazing.
I know. I've also been hitting the head a lot, so could be that.
I don't think so.
The other thing I see, and I actually see it as I close my eyes now, and it could be actually a problem with my eyes, but in a grouping, I would say probably roughly where my hand is, proportion, I can roughly gauge what my hand is. There's like a cluster of circles. Circles are a running theme, almost grouped together really tight in an irregular pattern, but like as if they're touching. So kind of like that.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like almost like right in center of my vision. And if I like look any direction, if I move my eyes as my eyes are closed, it moves with my eyes. So I can almost see it. Well, I'm looking over this way now. I can see it there. I can,
And what zodiac sign are you?
Taurus. I'm a loaded bull.
Taurus.
So here for the home viewers, if you can see that, it's circles.
Interesting. This could mean your zodiac sign is related to water. Sounds to me like you're feeling or sensing or seeing something related to liquid or water.
Now, the water is something I've always had an attachment to my whole life. I grew up on an island. I grew up around boats. I grew up around water. So, like, to me, I need to be near salt water. I just need to. Not for any other reason of like the smell
Could be
or
a
like the
past
feel.
life experience that's coming through then.
Could be.
Interesting. See, all you're missing, you could be doing past life exploration, finding out the reason for all of that. Gosh knows what you'll find out.
Could be. Then I'll go to find out what my past lives are, and it turns out I was like,
You could have been a Viking.
or I could have been the guy shoveling shit at the circus. I got eaten by the lions, That could have been me. Daredevil, it's how bats see. Echolocation is what it's called, Maddie. Echolocation. What?
No, I was thinking the word for the lights is phosphenes. The little lights you see when you press on your eyes. Everybody sees something different. You see circles. Sometimes people see like what looks like raindrops, like going diagonal or whatever.
See, to me, it's not diagonal. And I don't necessarily see because I can kind of almost see it now, especially if I block out the light.
How have you explained that away and ignored it all these years?
It wasn't something that I needed to explore. It's just okay. I close my eyes. There it is.
You're task oriented so strongly. You don't have time to look into humanistic.
That's probably accurate.
Yes.
I would definitely agree with that.
Yes.
Raleigh Jones says hello, everyone. Hello, Raleigh Jones.
Hello, Raleigh.
Yeah, I am very task oriented.
Which is
absolutely
also
right.
true for men. Men have a job to do, and that's what they do.
That's it. Like the best way task oriented I can tell you, just do a big description between me and my wife going shopping. And this is like a typical guy thing. She will be gone. She will go to Walmart to pick up one thing and she'll be gone 4 hours.
Yes.
I'll go to pick up one thing in the store and I'm gone like 15 minutes because the drive is, 5 minutes each way.
Yep.
And that's what I know what I need. I know what's got to get done. I do that. I move on to the next thing because there's more shit that's got to get done.
And that's what you're doing with visions in your mind.
Probably. I've always seen it. I've always, every now and again, I'll be like, I wonder what that is.
There's probably even been some associated dreams that have occurred during your life that you just have forgotten or ignored.
My dreams are either non-existent, either I don't remember them. I can't say I don't dream, I just don't remember dreaming, or they're really weird, usually dirty or violent or both. You don't want to go inside my head. Actually, no, you probably do because you weird.
That's why we're friends.
Well, that's why Nikole Raven is weird.
Yes, Nikole Raven is weird.
You have a nice setup. Thank you very much. I've been working out. Oh, mom's here. Stop talking about the dirty shit. For your guest, what is your opinion on Pentecostals speaking in tongues, interpreting, messing with snakes? Well, she didn't write that, but that's what they do. Because
I love snakes.
why is it always got to be snakes?
Well, first of all, they mess with poisonous snakes, venomous snakes.
Yeah, and then they get bit and they get,
Yeah, they want to demonstrate, they want to give evidence that they are immune to the poison, that their religion is saving them.
Didn't some guy get bit last week or not last week, last year or the year before?
It happens quite often.
Yeah. Doesn't work out so well, does
My
it?
wife's family's from West Virginia, and that's the big thing there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there you go. There's the opinion.
Pentecostals. Well, first of all, I don't agree with any religions. I think their whole purpose is to control us.
Okay.
And so I see a problem there in that they try to impose so much religious belief and rules on people.
Okay.
And then the whole snake thing is kind of funny, since we all have a divine power in us, is what I believe. They have the ability to cure themselves of snake poisoning at will.
Yeah, it didn't work out so well for the guy. He died.
Because that's probably what his spirit set up as his mission. It's what he was to do.
There was also, you had mentioned earlier about Jesus going on the fasting, walking through the desert for 30 days. Some missionary decided, I'm gonna try and beat Jesus's 30-day record.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go down in history as the guy surviving 30 snake bites.
Yeah. No, this guy didn't make it. He didn't make it either.
That's why
Yvonne
even
says,
Gandhi ate only 6 grains of rice a day.
Gandhi was like tiny though.
Right, but he ate rice. He ate something because he still needed it.
There are people called breatharians who believe that we should not eat.
That's silly.
That we can, and they do.
But then there's also one religion that I won't mention that believes that some alien's going to come back and take their soul back because they signed a 1,000,000-year lease. Or something like that. It was a lease or a rental agreement, rent to own. I don't know what was going on. There was money involved, a lot of money involved.
If I stay in my body for 100 years, can I own it after that?
I guess. Maddie hits this on, and this is my version, my view of religion. Having religion is like having a penis. It's good to have one. It's great to be proud of it. It's not okay to whip it out and shove it down someone's throats unless they ask.
And there's only certain things you can do with it.
That's true.
I mean, you can't abuse it.
Hammer a 7-inch spike through a board. Check. Actually, no, that was from the movie Weird Science. Remember that movie? No. It's because you're too freaking young. Do you remember that movie?
Yeah, I think so.
It's a bunch of college kids
right.
that unknowingly were working on a weapons system for the government. And the student goes to the professor's house one day, and the professor was kind of a slime bag. And he was with the one guy's hot daughter, the professor was. So, is it, and basically asking if he had a shot. She said, can you hammer a 7-inch spike through a board with your penis? And then the professor comes out. Comedy. I told you we were going to fit a dick joke in. Had to fit it in somewhere.
That's what she said.
back on track. Yvonne says, interesting to watch as an anthropological subculture analysis. Your mom firing out the big words. I like mom.
She's a walking thesaurus.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know she was a dinosaur. That's not nice. I'm only kidding, Ma. I love you.
Are we going back to Pentecostals on that anthropology?
Yeah. It's an interesting study, I guess, interesting anthropological study and subculture analysis with the Pentecostals. Uh-huh. Every religion I've encountered has some sort of a strange thing they do. Whether it's, the Pentecostals with the snakes or, the Catholics just being Catholic.
Oh, no. They turn wine into blood and bread into flesh.
I don't know.
Baptism freaks me out.
Jesus may have turned water into wine, but Jack Daniels turned water into whiskey, and whiskey's better than wine. All hail Jack Daniel.
And Caesar turned water into beer.
Yeah, he also was not a very good knife holder.
Ha.
But no, I mean, I was raised Catholic. My father, I had mentioned, very intelligent. He went to a seminary to become a priest. He didn't become a priest. Out of his group of friends, only one did, and he left many years ago. He left the priesthood.
Mhm.
I believe his parting words to the bishop were "Go fuck yourself." I think were his parting words. So I'm guessing he didn't leave on good terms. No 2-week notice or anything. How do you give a 2 weeks notice as a priest? I mean, like, who do you write the letter to?
Dear God.
Dear God, I quit. Caesar was a good salad tosser. Yes. Yes, he was.
Was that Maddie?
It was actually Caesar Cardini.
What is it? The Vatican's secret archives includes 53,000 miles of shelving. There's a lot of secrets there in the church.
Oh, yeah. A lot of secrets and a lot of treasures, not just money, financial treasures, but a lot of artistic treasures and probably a whole lot of stuff they don't want you, I, or anyone else seeing.
That's right.
Because the magician never tells the reveal, never reveals his trick. What?
Yes.
Oh,
YouTube stopped for a second, but I pressed it again and it's good now.
okay, good. Don't do that to me. Give me a heart attack.
Sorry. That's why I have the feed over here. My
Okay.
phone's dying, so I don't know how much longer I can keep it up.
Want to plug? Want to plug him in? Is it,
I don't have a charger.
what kind of wire is it? Android?
See?
Give me. Stop.
Okay. You can just turn it off.
Oh, you got the new one. Can't help you.
Okay, bye.
Yeah, I'm old school. Yeah. So anyways, I was raised Catholic and went through that, but I never got hooked. I never studied, never paid attention, but I never got hooked into it where going to church when I was younger, we went to church every Sunday. It was a hassle. I just didn't like going to church.
Yes. Well,
Still
a lot of those concepts aren't true anyway, so it's a good thing you didn't get hooked.
All right, good. Dodge that bullet. So on to some of the things you've experienced. I've talked about my experience. Nikole talked about some of hers. Now, things that you've experienced. Try and convince me. This is convincing time. Try and convince.
Okay, that's tough for somebody who has absolutely no belief in this stuff.
He just used the nice words for. It's hard for someone who's an asshole. He called me an asshole just now. I want everybody to know that, and I appreciate that.
But see, things that happen to me or that I do, you're going to explain away as something else, just like the pareidolia guys think that's a human brain tendency and has nothing to do with spirits.
Okay.
But
is there an experience you had that would make me, cause for pause to be like, I can't explain that?
Well, a long time ago, or not too long ago, actually, I became possessed by a really strong spirit, and it's what's called divine possession. I share my consciousness with this spirit, and the spirit has so much strong positive energy that it changed things around me when I walked, when I did things. Years ago, I hike a lot. I'm a big hiker. I go hiking 4 or 5 times a week. I have the time since I'm retired. And when I go into the woods, the animals run away and I never see them. Occasionally I'll see a bird off in the distance. That's how it used to be. Now, when I go hiking in the woods, I'll have a deer come walking out of the woods and walk alongside me for a while, or another animal or something that'll run right up to me, a coyote and I never even used to see them. Now
do they communicate with you at all? Or
yes,
is it just
I can communicate with them. Yes. They don't use English, but yes, they communicate.
I would assume they wouldn't know English. Well, depending on where they are,
Right.
I could see that because I don't disagree that people have positive and negative energy. That's something I absolutely agree with. And to me, it's the good
not
versus
just positive and negative. It's the amount of this energy, whatever it is,
okay,
that emanates from spiritual or energy centers in the body.
Okay. Yeah, like with the animals, they say dogs can sense evil.
Yes,
I have no doubts about that.
Yeah,
I don't.
Okay,
I absolutely 100% believe in that.
How can they sense that? How can you agree with such a paranormal thing?
Because just like a magnet, there's a positive side of it and a negative side of it.
Okay,
and people's energy has positive.
So they have a way
energy.
of feeling that energy.
Exactly.
Okay.
So, but it's not something I can feel, but it's something because I have seen I have seen pure evil human beings, like the evilest of the evil. I've stared them right in the eye.
Yeah, we know.
And
they
you
exist.
know, and this is seeing the person, not knowing who they are, just looking at them, be like, that motherfucker's evil. And then you come to find out that that person is truly incredibly evil.
Yes, without a doubt.
So as far as that goes, but I don't necessarily count that as paranormal, because to me, just like
that's normal to you.
Because the magnetism exists. I can hold a compass and I can find north because of the magnetism. So to me, I wouldn't count that as paranormal or otherworldly, because that to me is of this world and something that is scientifically provable. There is positive and negative. There are polar opposites. There's the yin and the yang.
Yeah, and see, but
Siegfried and Roy.
I could go on and tell you all of these things. I'll walk into a seminary and I'll see little groups of ghosts talking to each other, and I can talk back and forth to them.
Not in English.
Yes, because they're English, unless I'm in another country someplace.
All right, fair enough.
I haven't tried that, by the way. I need to go to a foreign country and see if I can talk to them.
Do you speak any other languages?
A little Spanish.
Okay. Like I'd be willing, I'd be interested to see how you would feel, how you would react, and what you would feel going to a place like St. Charles No. 1 in Louisiana. The famous, cemetery, the haunted place where Mary Laveau is buried, and all these people in the above ground crypts and the oven crypts, and like that kind of.
You know what I find that humans find the most or claim is hauntings is a spirit that is with them. And in the Catholic religion, they call this spirit a guardian angel. In other spiritualism, they call it a spirit guide. And it's like this spirit's main purpose is to do what's called awaken you to the truth.
Okay.
To make you see that all of this stuff you've been filled with since a child is completely erroneous, and then show you the way to the truth. And in doing so, they get pretty aggressive. They'll knock dishes out of the kitchen cabinet. They'll open and close drawers. They'll do anything they can to get your attention. And I get constant complaints, or not complaints. I get contacts from my site, and it's a lot of times it's single women with children who'll say, "My house is haunted. I'm afraid what's going to happen to my child. It's got to be a demon or something. Somebody's got to help me." And they try to get a paranormal investigator in there to look at it. And so the paranormal investigator comes in and stays there for a few hours at night, and sometimes gets pictures of some odd phenomena, and it may or may not be the spirit, or it could be a totally different spirit and that's in the house. They not realizing that spirit is there for their good, not for their bad.
You'd hope it's for the good.
Do you think that there can be like ghost cat or ghost dog or anything like, like let's say that there's a cat who hasn't crossed over to the other side or whatever, and so he's still hanging out in this realm or whatever?
Yes, because we create reality.
Okay.
You are the one that creates that reality.
Right. I wasn't specifically talking about my cat because I know she's still around. Right. But I've heard of like other cats in other houses and things like that. But
Roger will sit back and say, "I don't believe any of that. It doesn't happen. There's no such thing. Therefore, there won't be any such thing in Roger's house."
Well, I was going to say what just got me, and I was going to wait till you were to say it, where you said that you create the reality. Yes. To me, what that means is it's unique to you. So you create that reality. That's not reality to me. So it's not reality, or it's not real.
You don't think that your elevator's haunted?
No, I think the elevator is just a piece of fucking garbage that's never been fixed because the broke ass people that own this building and manage this building aren't going to fix it right.
Tell me how it works.
That's your
for like 1 week. And then I walk by the next week and it just like opens when nobody pressed the button or anything.
How does that happen?
Yes.
Piece of shit elevator. That elevator, since we've been in this I've been in this building probably 3 years now.
I think it's haunted.
It's not haunted. It's a piece of crap. It hasn't worked. They replaced it.
It hasn't worked because there's a ghost living in the shaft.
There's another possibility.
What?
Some of my members often talk about how if they'll walk down the street lights will go out next to them. That they have an effect on electronics.
See, that's something I've never seen in my life.
You have on that elevator.
Why just that elevator and why no other piece of electronic equipment ever?
You're more aware of it. The configuration of those electronics. There's a lot of big, huge coils in there.
Okay.
Lots of reasons.
See, with that, I'll ask you this in a second. So, Yvonne, I'm going to get to your question in a second. Now, as far as interrupting electric circuitry, the electronic things with the big coils and the high voltage, to me, and knowing what I know about electricity and electronics, that would be less likely to be interrupted by someone's energy as opposed to something that's fine or very sensitive electronics. Just because of the amount of voltage and power that's going through that, it takes a lot to mess with it. And if something's putting out enough energy to interfere with, 600,000 kilovolts at high ohm,
they're knocking out streetlights. There's a lot of voltage up there. They're probably 240 by 100 amps, 20 amps at least.
Possibly.
There's a lot there they're knocking out. All their appliances at home. There's some of these poor people that are continually burning things up. They can't wear electronic watches because they'll put it on for a couple of days and it's dead.
See, I could see to me a watch, being affected would make more sense than higher powered things. That's just the way my brain thinks. Yvonne's asking, do you think those that have died are spirits that live among us? And what I think she's actually asking are they all trapped here on this physical earth with us? Is there another place they're at? Are they just like crowding in this room staring at us like, what are these fucking assholes talking about?
First of all, there's no such thing as trapped.
Okay.
Anywhere by anybody by anything.
Okay.
Now, whether they choose at times to be with us or next to us certainly happens. Some of them, I've even seen them following or being very close to the individuals they're worried about that they left back in life.
Okay.
And there's no way I could convince them to leave, or as they say on TV, go into the light, because they want to stay there next to that loved one and see everything that's going on and try to do everything for them that they can.
See, that's what I think my father's done. I think he's like standing over my shoulder, just keeping me out of enough trouble to end up dead or in jail, but being like, hey, he'll figure it out himself.
That's a lot of trouble for a ghost. That's some difficulty there.
You don't know the persistence of my father was Polish. You don't know the persistence of that man.
Yeah, so they're and they're all over. When I sit down and do what's called scrying, I'll do that. I try to do that once a week. I'll lay down. I'll set up my magic mirror, and I will bring in I'll conjure a spirit, or I might go to the Akasha and look at the future or the past. They wouldn't be able to be there when I conjure them if they were trapped somewhere. And I can conjure any spirit. I want to talk to George Washington. I can talk to George Washington.
Hang on one second. Yvonne, I don't see, you said, please read Jimmy question exactly. I'm curious if all the dead still roam the earth.
What?
I guess I must have missed a word. Do you think all those who have died are spirits that live among us?
Let's look at that from a different perspective. First of all, in the astral plane, there's no time and space.
Okay.
Time and space only exists in this dimension with you and me.
His name's Peter, by the way, Yvonne. That's Peter.
Yes.
That's why she said Jimmy. I'm like,
so from that sense, of course they roam the earth. They are everywhere. There is no time and space.
So, it's I guess hard to wrap the head around. So all the persons that have lived,
or will live.
See, now you're throwing another layer onto this. This is spell check. Okay. It's okay. So who lived or will live. Now, does that throw reincarnation? Is that a dynamic that's in the grand scheme?
Yes.
So I was always taught in science that energy can never be created or destroyed. It can only transfer from one.
And we are all energy.
Yeah, exactly.
And me and my wife have had this exact discussion. It's like there has to be spirits because energy is neither created nor destroyed.
Yeah,
and she's a scientist, mind you.
It just goes to different vessels.
What I said to her is, you're right. Energy cannot be created nor destroyed. However, it can be converted. So, the energy that, the spirit energy, there are other forms of energy. There's heat energy, there's light energy. To me, when somebody dies, I don't believe in an afterlife. I really don't believe in reincarnation. I believe when you die, it's just, the energy fizzles out and, gets converted into heat energy and dissipates into the atmosphere. Probably because I've never truly experienced anything. That's what my brain thinks. And that's how I rationalize where that energy
You're
goes.
also thinking too linear. All of your past lives and all of your future lives, along with your current life, are going on right now.
Simultaneously.
I
I did not do enough drugs for that sentence. Right? I am too sober for that right now. No, I get what you're saying. So multi-dimensional. But then here's the thing: are there dimensions within the dimensions? Like the theory that every decision that you make essentially splits your existence into two. The did you do it or did you not do it? Did you
I think there's multiple universes, parallel universes that are all happening at the same time.
But then we have, there's obviously an infinite number.
Absolutely an infinite number. There's an alternate universe where I got sick today and I didn't come to the podcast and then something else happened. There's an alternate universe where instead of using the bathroom, coming into the office and then leaving to go use the bathroom, I just used the bathroom and then you guys had a conversation without me, and that universe is, happening somewhere else. There's I sound so stupid, but the multiverse episode in Family Guy is actually kind of what I believe.
I actually like that episode.
That's my favorite episode. But that's my favorite.
It's bad when we're basing our realities on Family Guy. I mean, I love Seth MacFarlane, but if you're listening, Seth, which you're not, you fucking listen to this show. But I love you.
I'm pretty sure I met his twin brother the other day.
Really?
Maybe it was him.
Did he have that deep, that real deep, smooth ass voice?
Yes, he did. He looked exactly like him, and he had him. It may very well have been him.
Could be.
But I also thought that I met Jay Chen. I can't say his last name. Chandrasekhar, and it wasn't him. He just happened to be an Indian guy who was around the same stature, who had the same first name, but was significantly younger.
Seth is a prophet.
Once we teach you to see all these things so that you believe them, you will be amazed.
Or I'll be horrified. I mean, either way.
No. Seth is a prophet.
Yeah.
He is a prophet.
Between Family Guy and Simpsons, the amount of things they predicted is frightening.
Yeah.
Frightening. Kevin Spacey, Tom Cruise,
9/11, yeah. Simpsons 9/11 and from 1997.
Simpsons predicted 9/11. Seth MacFarlane almost died on 9/11.
He says I've heard him say in interviews that he doesn't really think about that because he wasn't in the line of danger at any point, so he doesn't think
in
about
reality. No,
in reality, no.
He was supposed to be on one of the planes that crashed into the World Trade Center,
but he was
drunk and overslept, missed the flight. And it was actually initially reported that he was killed because he was on the manifest.
The wrong television shows.
Seriously, what do you watch?
Carnival Row.
I don't watch TV, so I don't know what that is.
Oh, okay. That's a show on Netflix about fairies.
Okay.
What's it called?
Carnival Row. It's really good. It's they have their own little town that humans have made them live in, and there are policemen in there and all kinds of other strange-looking mystical creatures.
Interesting.
Sounds like my
just like Earth.
Yeah. 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 Yeah, I'm weird. I don't watch TV. I very rarely watch movies anymore.
Oh,
like all those popular TV shows.
So the Seth MacFarlane and Family Guy you watched many years ago.
Well, no, I'll still catch episodes every now and again. I don't have, I got rid of cable TV at home.
Oh, okay.
So I have the Kindle Fire TV.
Cut the cord.
I cut the cord. So I have Netflix and Disney Plus. Mm-hmm. Which did I talk about the Imagineering story last week?
Yes, I think. I don't know. You talk about Disney a lot.
I like Disney. Okay.
I know. So tell me the Imagineering story if you want.
Well, no, it's just a series on Netflix.
On
Disney Plus. I think everybody should watch.
Yes, you did tell me
like
that.
Disney at all.
Disney
Check
Plus
it out, the Imagineering story.
Sorry.
But I never got into The Walking Dead, all those big TV shows that were wildly popular. I've never seen this. I watched one episode of The Walking Dead.
Deja vu. Do you ever experience that?
Didn't you just ask me that?
No.
I'm just kidding.
Yes, he frequents the strip club often.
Yeah, I've been to Deja. Actually,
in the Matrix where the cat walks forward twice.
That happens to me all the time, even when I know that I've never been in that situation.
You know what my favorite part of the movie The Matrix was? I don't know. I never saw it.
You should.
I know. It's one of those movies I want to watch. It just never happened.
It's a good movie.
I've actually never seen the movie, so
Deja vu happens to me so much that sometimes I deja vu that I'm having deja vu, and then I just like it's like a perpetual cycle. I've been here before. I've been here before. And
So
I
like
haven't.
Groundhog Day?
But like back to back to back to back. Literally, like I'll walk into a room and I'd be like it would happen to me all the time in Lakin's house. My friend Lakin, I'd walk into her house all the time, and even though I had been there before, I would just get that feeling of having been there before, that deja vu feeling, and then I would just perpetually keep having that feeling like back to back until I like shook myself out of it and like walked away.
Now, I have had the feeling of deja vu before.
You have.
Yes, and usually when it happens, it's incredibly strong. It's like I know exactly what the fuck's about to happen. And like my brain says, this is what's going to happen, and that's what happens. It's
How
like,
can you say that you don't believe in all this paranormal stuff when you yourself
you're
are feeling
bringing
it?
up all of these experiences.
Just because you're like
there's got to be a logical explanation for
okay,
it.
so my
Luck.
logical explanation, luck.
I don't know.
You have to work hard to be lucky,
was
says
a
the magnet on my fridge.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I have one on my fridge that says sometimes better be lucky than good. Actually, I don't have that. My dad used to say that all the time. He also used to say, always wipe the front from front to back, is never sweep dirt into the kitchen.
That's not a problem for girls because we're just taught to just always
know.
go to the booty. Sorry.
Front to the back.
Never sweep dirt into the kitchen.
Oh my God.
And like my shop teacher taught me in high school, never screw without a washer.
What?
Never screw without a washer.
I hear you, but what?
Screw.
And a washer.
Washer.
I know what a screw and a washer is, yes.
Yeah, you never screw without a washer. It's just good building.
Hygiene.
That too. See, you had to take it the other direction. I'm sitting here talking about the mechanics of fastener systems, and here you are going dirty. Anyway, we go on a lot of tangents, by the way.
What does
Well,
FUBAR stand for?
There's a lot
Sorry.
of people who feel deja vu is multiple timelines. And
where they like intersect or
Yeah.
split off.
You're crossing them.
Okay.
Yes.
I get that logic. I understand the concept behind it. Maybe it is.
I love and hate deja vu because it makes me happy, but it also kind of freaks me out.
I hate it because I spend a lot of money there. Second deja vu joke. Yeah. Maybe that is what it is. But it's one of those things where I can't explain it, but at the same time, it's not such a significant event or a significant thing when it happens.
But you have a source, like a tremendous library, and all you have to do is ask it and it'll tell you.
Yeah, it's called the internet.
Some people call it the universe. Some people call it spirit.
I call it the universe.
Somebody's okay. That's
Yeah.
a good way to call it.
Yeah.
Somebody's lying to you. You get a kind of feeling about it. You can ask the universe if they're lying or telling you the truth.
I just usually ask that person. It's like, are you lying to me? I can tell.
I usually rephrase the question into a manner that will convince them to answer the question in the way they don't want to answer the question, but the way I want them to answer the question. It's called interview and interrogation.
It'd be a lot easier just to ask the universe.
Oh yeah, it'd be a hell of a lot easier. Is this guy guilty? Yup. It's a lot easier to do an interrogation that way. Takes kind of the sport out of it though. Yeah, like I said, going into this, I'm skeptical, but I'm not a complete denier to it. I don't disagree. I just, I need something, to convince me.
Well,
Now, you had brought some pictures in.
Yeah, that's what I try to do when I see something is photograph it, and use that on the site to try to convince the skeptics that it really exists in physical space. This picture, for example, looked to me, I was meditating about or seeing dragons in the forest when I took that picture. And that happens to be a dragon's eye that we're looking at right there.
Seeing an eye, possibly a mouth,
Yeah.
scales.
Yeah.
Or if you actually look at a dragon, that could also be its ear because they got funny looking ears.
It could be.
Yeah, I don't know.
Could be. Maybe I was biased because of what I'd been meditating.
But then I
about.
kind of see a weird skull here.
I see it.
Yeah, I like I kind of
For
see.
some reason, when I see dragons, I always start with the eye.
It's one of those things where that could be, a dragon's eye. It could also be a fish,
It could.
like a fish's eye.
Yeah.
But
Either one is just as strange as being in the woods.
that's true. That is true. Unless it's one of them Frankenstein fish. I'm gonna hold this up to the camera.
Sure, and
See,
we'll go
I-
through a
I-
couple of those.
I don't know if you guys will be able to really see what we're seeing here because it's a camera looking at a picture. But what I'm seeing, stop it. That's the lighting's not right. See the circle right about, is what I'm kind of seeing as a reference point. Is yeah, it's not really looking too clean out to the.
If you do it a little to your left, I think it'll be better lighting. Oh, sorry, to your right then. To your right. I might be wrong.
6 of one, a half dozen of the other.
Okay, never mind.
Okay.
Yeah, there's also it's showing a little bit of glare from the page, so I could definitely see that. But then to me, it's what is that circle? Why is it there?
Yeah.
I don't know what I'm trying to see. Looks like the sun was up and to the
sun
left.
is off to the left. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's not necessarily a glare through the camera.
I find that during the day when I want to try to catch spirits, I need a lot of bright sunlight. They tend to be up in the ultraviolet band, while the spirits at night are down in the infrared band.
Okay.
So anytime I've caught something like this, the skeptics would immediately explain this one as a lens flare. But do you have things sitting in the middle of your lens flares?
Here,
right after I saw a fairy to my left in the woods.
Here's where, with this, it could possibly be a lens flare. I don't know what kind of camera you took this with. It's obviously a digital camera, by the way that looks.
Yeah, it was. It was a small point and shoot.
Okay. Point and shoot cameras aren't known for having the highest quality lenses and internals.
This was a Nikon point and shoot.
Okay, so it's going to be better. It's going to be better than average, but still not the best because those point and shoots, they're not going to have the true precision ground lenses. I would look at this and say it's just something that can't be explained. Unless you went out there the same. If I went out there, this is my father's birthday, by the way. Went out there.
That's my birthday.
Birthday October 10th.
Yes.
Nice.
And you don't think that that's some sort of synchronicity here?
So
it's a 1 in 365 chance of it falling, or 366.
Your father's Polish. He's got the same birthday as me. I wonder what else did we have in common.
Daddy? No. No, as far as what this is, I would leave this in the pile of don't know. Can't say for certain either way. It's beautiful.
I was told that was fairy giving me a birthday present.
Okay. And you said you saw something right prior to taking this picture, right?
Yes. Normally I'll catch things in the woods right out of the corners of my eyes.
To me, you know what it reminds me? At first glance, even looking at it, it looks like a candle holder with a candle in it. But almost like the flame is in the middle of the candle. So that's
quite a strange lens flare, though, wouldn't you say?
Definitely. Oh, it's definitely an unusual thing. I can't say it's lens flare. I can't say it's definitely. So what I can say is I can't identify what it is, but it is beautiful.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and there's several others of that type in here. This is a recreation of wood sprays that I made in Photoshop to try to show people what I see when I see wood sprites in the woods. There's these little glowing balls of multicolored light.
Okay, so what's in this picture is something you actually physically placed there
with Photoshop.
Oh, with Photoshop. Okay.
Yeah. As a means to illustrate it.
Where have I seen something like that before? Probably when I was tripping balls somewhere.
In your dreams?
Or I was high. No, I mean it's a very familiar looking pattern. I could hold it up, but I don't think the camera's going to do it justice. It's think of a horizontal oval would be the best descriptor of the shape of the general shape, but inside it goes from yellow to orange to blue, actually to the violet to blue, very pronounced. Now you say you can see this with your physical eye when you're out, and this is just showing what it would look like.
My eyes are open and I'm seeing them, but I'm not sure I can say it's my physical eye.
Okay. What I meant is you're seeing it with your eyes.
Yes.
Well, you're seeing it through your eyes.
Yes.
You're looking and it's there.
Yes.
Okay. Now, do you see two of them at once?
I'll see two of them at once, usually not more than two. And I've already asked them to come home or come to my house. So I've got about 20 of them floating around my house.
Do you name them?
I don't name them, and I don't think they have names, but they do talk.
In English?
Yes.
That's weird.
They talk as I said before, they whisper in my mind when I ask them a question.
Okay.
And there's certain areas of the house they like water. So anywhere in the kitchen, the bathrooms, anywhere there's a lot of water, that's where they like to be.
What's the one thing that all life needs? Water.
Water. Yes. And these are tree things. And this is a good one. This is another Photoshop recreation. It's what I see when I talk to tree spirits. If I go up to an oak tree and put my hand on it, close my eyes, that's what will come into my mind is an image similar to that, but it'll vary depending on the oak tree I'm talking to.
Okay. As a plant person, I have to ask this: what kind of energy does he perceive when he touches different plants?
Oh, they have different sounds and feelings and
Flavors.
yes. There's one plant that I call my plant ally, called Biden's alba, also known as beggar's tick or Spanish needle. It's the most common weed in Florida. Every time I go to it and meditate or talk to it, it giggles constantly.
Is that the one that gives you like the half circle little pouches stuck to you like Velcro?
Yeah, they have two needles that grab you. That's why where the Biden's comes from is from
Okay.
two. And I make a tea out of it and I eat it and do lots of things with it. But
Does it get you high? Just asking.
Well, what?
Does it get you high?
No,
Okay.
that's not. But it has a tremendous long list of medicinal purposes.
Now you say when you talk to plant, you can see this. How whether you can see it physically or your mind is seeing it.
Well, I'm doing it with my mind, my eyes closed, and I'm seeing it in my mind, but on the backs
Okay.
of my eyeballs or my eyelids, like you see.
Okay,
or-
so now do you see this texture around this tree
Yes.
bark like texture?
yes.
Okay.
And sometimes I'll see both eyes. Sometimes I'll see one eye.
So is that an eye or is that a mouth?
That's an eye.
Okay.
And that's a particular a strong tree called an oak, a particular type of oak.
Yeah.
Oaks always have this little group of fairies that hang around with them. And sometimes
Okay.
they'll show me their fairies first. And I found that if people who don't usually aren't able to see this much will usually see the little groups of fairies.
Interesting. Yvonne says that plant, I believe the one you were just speaking of, is the best for the bees.
Yes.
Is
And
that the one that pops little white flowers with the yellow
Yes.
centers? Oh, okay.
here in the winter, nothing is pollinating except for that plant. It's keeping all of the pollinators alive.
Okay.
It's a wonderful little plant.
I like bees. Bees are good.
Yes.
Nikole, you still alive over there?
Yes, I was
Thank
looking
God.
for some photos. Thank God.
Thank God. Well,
I was
'cause
looking
like
for
you.
from photos, but I can't find the ones I was looking for.
Okay.
That's all.
You have
Yes.
other
Several,
photos?
absolutely. That would. Oh, wait a minute. That's it for my arm photos here. Well, there are a number of things in trees. Take a look at this one. This is at a local park here. These are two completely separate trees,
Okay.
and they've each grown towards each other to join in the middle there. The scientific name for that is inoculation, but I call it the marriage tree. It's two trees that had to join. They could
We see
not
it?
be. They could not be partitioned.
So now what's with the one in the middle though?
That's a branch off
Okay.
the one on the left. But those
Okay.
two big trees are you follow them all the way down to the ground. They're separate trees.
Okay.
That's just plain reality.
Yeah.
I have found that you can use vegetation in nature to interpret a lot of things. They can tell you what's going on. I don't have it in that book, but I often explain to people how they can find vortexes, portals in the woods by looking at the way the vortex forces vegetation to grow. So trees can, just by looking at
Well,
their
isn't
branches.
that all comes back to like the Fibonacci sequence of the coils and
Yes, I would assume that the coils in the vortex do follow the Fibonacci formula.
interesting.
But yeah, that's going on out there as well. It's just all of this stuff.
It is
Roger, you and
fascinating.
I
It
need
is
to go for a walk in the woods.
Let's do it.
Absolutely.
I
Tomorrow.
think I'll go for a walk outside now. The summer sun's calling my name. Come on.
I don't know the song.
Come on. For reals. You didn't see the Brady Bunch movie.
No.
Now I feel like a jerk because you guys are talking about all fancy TV shows and shit. I watched the Brady Bunch movie.
I watched the
Um,
Brady Bunch TV show.
So now let me ask you. Let me ask you this. I watched that too. The ones that call themselves psychic mediums, like what's his name, John Edwards and Teresa Caputo.
Yeah.
What's your take on them? Are they for real? Are they full of shit? What's your opinion on them?
They certainly could fib, but I think they're for real.
Okay.
Since there is no time and space over there, things operate very quickly, and it's very easy for them to get that information very quickly.
Now, I have a contrasting opinion with them. I actually think that people that do that are, for the most part, full of shit. Mainly because it's a psychological parlor trick. There was a show that Penn Jillette and Penn and Teller did called Penn and Teller's Bullshit.
Mhm.
And the very first episode, they explored that John Edward type psychic medium, not necessarily, people, but the ones that have those big shows that they, have attract paying audiences to.
There's a lot of pressure on them to perform.
Correct. But they were able to show how they're able to gain information. When you start out, you have a room full of, we'll just say 1,000 people. I'm getting a vibe, somebody named John. Everybody knows somebody named fucking John. But what they do is before the show, they'll have people mingling as if they're audience members themselves. And, I'm hoping to hear from my grandfather. What about you? And they're feeding information.
And
they're
I've
fishing
also
for
heard
information.
that they edit a lot of the video out that is boring or not. He's not accurate, so he looks more accurate than he really is.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So that's why, to me, especially somebody that's profiting off of it, somebody who's profiting off of it to that level, I'm very suspicious. And anytime somebody's making huge money doing something like that, I always find it very suspicious, especially when it's something that using, psychological tricks, you can trick people into believing it. So those people, I'm not saying that everything is false. I just don't trust that guy or Teresa. I met Teresa.
It can be manipulated, just like the ghost hunters can when they manipulate things on their shows.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's even more easily manipulated. We were talking before. I enjoyed that show from a theatrical and entertainment standpoint.
Right.
But the one thing that annoyed me is they would throw in sounds. And actually, one thing I didn't mention when we were talking earlier was they actually every now and then would throw in a single frame. Television frame rate, I think, is like 26 frames per second is the television frame rate.
30 frames per second.
30 frames per second.
Yes.
And so at 30 frames per second, if you swap out one frame, now you're into subliminal messaging.
Right.
And I remember seeing, while watching that show, a single frame of like a scary face, almost like in the movie The Exorcist, when they do a scene change, it would have that scary face for that like a second, and then it would go on to the next shot. Almost like that. Something very, very close to that they threw in there. And I was never able to pause it, but I was able to rewind and almost catch a quick glimpse of it as it went. I just was never able to get it paused on that moment.
Yeah, I'm sure that happens.
And, a television show is obviously going to edit, manipulate, and you're going to see things out of order, and they're going to add things in. So something like that is definitely, I call bullshit on 90% of what they do. It was entertaining as hell, but not saying everything was bullshit.
Well,
but
in the paranormal, you have to be careful. There's a lot of things done for entertainment.
Yeah.
Not for good purposes, for real reasons, for purposes of love and care. They're just for the entertainment of humans.
Yeah. Well, entertainment of humans and profit.
Yes.
And that, like I said, that's my biggest issue with is it John Edward? Jonathan Edwards was his name?
John
I don't
Edwards.
know.
John Edwards.
Yep.
Him and Teresa Caputo, the biggest two that I could think of. I like I said, I've met Teresa, and I think she's full of shit. I mean, she's a nice lady, but I completely think she's a fraud. But the way, and if you get the opportunity to check out that episode of Penn and Teller's Bullshit, it's how they show how the trick is done.
But let me give you another example. I'm in several large mediumship development groups online that are in Facebook, and somebody will go up and post a picture, put a picture up and say this person's passed, or an item, picture of an item. And then everybody goes down and provides their psychic response to it. And at the end, after all the responses are in, the person who posts it will go down and comment on each person's input. And if you're right more than 50% of the time on those kinds of things, that's paranormal for sure.
And better than a meteorologist.
Yes. Yes.
But I wouldn't call bullshit on that. Where I call bullshit, where I draw the line, essentially is where profit comes into it.
I would agree with that.
Where it's a show. People are buying tickets to see a show.
Yes.
And you're using every tool to your advantage to give them that show. That's where I'm at with those people. As far as the medium groups, like you were talking about, that aren't the same thing. I don't think the two are the same to me.
And the problem that those for-profit shows are doing is they're taking away credibility from the
Exactly.
real part of the thing, destroying its credibility
Exactly.
just for profit.
Exactly. I'm still sad about Miss Cleo though. Didn't that end up being a guy?
No, I don't think so.
I thought it was. But you're right in that it definitely will detract, and anything that's sold for entertainment, any realness to it gets devalued anyway. So
Yes.
yeah,
Yes. But I've recently started practicing. I'll watch something on TV about a woman being kidnapped or killed, or a child missing, and I will try to psychically figure out where they are, what happened to them, if they're alive or they're dead or not. And I'm finding my guesses or my insights are pretty accurate.
okay,
So I mean, you can experiment with it on your own.
makes sense. Now, when you came into this office, did you feel anything?
Well, I did look around the building and the so forth for spirits as I walked in. I didn't see anything.
Okay,
Can't say I.
the front door doesn't lock, so you never know what if you're seeing is a spirit or somebody homeless. You never know.
And I didn't see Nicole's spirit in the elevator,
No,
but I didn't take the elevator. So
I'm telling you that it's not a spirit in that elevator is just a POS. That elevator is just trash,
Why
straight
not
up
both?
mechanical trash.
It can be both. It could be a spirit fucking with it.
I got to be honest with you. I think even if a spirit saw that, they'd be like, "No, that's just dangerous.
I'll take the
Dangerous to
stairs.
ride.
That's just too dangerous." No, like, no, I'm not doing it.
Do you think spirits take the stairs, or do you think they just like go out of the building and like go down, float down, or whatever?
I think. Well, let's put it this way: if I don't, my belief or what I have in my head as far as what the spirits are and what Peter's are is two different things. Like if spirits did exist, we'll just say the if, because again, no, I can't hold a spirit in my hand, although one of them probably just put their dick in my hand.
I
Spirits
knew he was
probably
going to use that word tonight. I knew it.
I've used it several times. And the first thing he said when he came in, you weren't even here yet. He's like, "This whole thing's not going to be dick jokes, is it?" I'm like,
course it isn't.
"No, there'll be some. There has to be some." But I think they can just float wherever.
If I was a spirit, I would definitely like use my powers to just like be like, I'm avoiding traffic today.
You are a spirit.
I know, but I meant if I was like a non-bodied entity.
Well, you can separate your spirit from your body. It's called astral travel.
Well, yes, that's true.
And there's some possibilities. Some people believe that you do that when you dream every night.
I believe that because I've had a dream and then I wake up in my own bed and then I talk to somebody who had a very similar dream, but they had it from their perspective.
Mhm.
Like we had a conversation in like dream world and then we come back to real life and then we're like, hey, remember that?
Oh, wow, that's cool.
Yeah. That happened with my cousin a couple times. And she would have a dream and then I'd have a very similar dream. And I remember, so when I was younger, I had this recurring dream. And one day I had it for years and years and years.
Your mother.
Why? What about my mother?
He should do a reading of your desk titties. My titties have not been on the desk.
Actually, where are your desk titties?
They're back there.
Oh.
I had somebody in the office the other day.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because a lot of people have touched them, actually. A lot of people have touched these. Boobies.
I don't want you to feel left out.
Oh, all right.
If you insist.
Oh, so
Don't squeeze them too hard. They're made in China, and I don't know what's in the water.
Sense a lot of evil thoughts in
Really? But it looks so friendly.
Oh, whatever. Desk titties.
So your mom's sorry I had to go there. Thanks. We're having a serious conversation here.
Thanks, Mom.
I don't know.
Yeah, so I had this recurring dream when I'll spare you the details, but I had a recurring dream for a long time when I was a kid. And then one day I was sleeping over at my cousin's house and she told me about a dream that she had that was reoccurring that was extremely similar to my dream, only the dream was from her perspective in the dream instead of mine. And then after we talked about it and we vocalized it, we never had that dream again. Because that night we told each other, we were like, okay, because the dream was that we were kids and then somebody would come and like kidnap us. And so she told but the details were the same. And so that night we talked about it and we're like, tonight, if we have that dream, instead of letting them kidnap us, we're going to fight back. And then we did. And then we never had that dream again.
Wow.
Interesting.
Yes.
Shout out to my cousin Sam.
Sam, I am.
That's the one who we called on her birthday.
Oh,
Yeah.
how's she doing? She good?
She's good. She bought a house.
Awesome.
Yeah, good for her.
Good for her.
It's not haunted.
I don't know. I haven't been there.
See, now what's funny about the haunted house thing? Like
She would welcome it though.
a buddy of mine is a funeral director, and the house he bought and he saw because he went to the place to collect the body of the woman who hung herself in there, and he liked the house. He knew it was going to be going on the market, so he ended up buying it. And I asked him, I've asked him, like, do you see ghosts? He's like, nope, never.
Does he have that ability?
He's really pasty white. I don't know if that means anything.
Can he see them elsewhere?
Only when he's drunk, but he stopped drinking. Crazy Irish kid.
Huh.
Yeah, that's what?
This one?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, we're not allowed to say his name because I told you what happened. Yeah.
I still think that he should call his funeral service that. Never mind. Whatever.
Yeah. We can't say his name.
I know. I'm sorry.
Well, we can say his name because I doubt they're watching, but
I don't know who is they again?
the company in which he works for.
Oh, okay.
He's also a comedian. He was on the show once, and even though he didn't talk about what he did, I had to take the video down because, well, when you see him when he's doing his funeral director job, he looks nice and perfect in suit, and then when he's not in his suit, he's wearing sleeveless T-shirt with full sleeve tattoos, and he does not look the same with a suit versus without a suit. And he's one of the filthiest comedians I've ever worked with.
Oh,
so he's got two completely different lives. Strange. So we had to take it. The company, the corporate funeral home, saw the video, and we had to take it down. Even though we didn't talk about it, they didn't want anybody seeing it and be like, "Why is that guy talking about something awful?" What time is it? 30. Oh wow, time flies when you're having fun, or when you're a spirit, because there is no time.
We've got an awful lot of things we could cover yet.
I know. There's things we have to cover yet. Is there anything else that you could say to me that would be compelling to change my perception? You have changed my perception a bit tonight. But I mean, what's your?
There is, if you go on Facebook, a friend of mine up in Jacksonville has got me started in this research many years ago. Let me show you a little bit of his material. There's an area in this in life, I guess is the only way I could call it, that is neither spiritual world or physical world, but we don't see it, and they're all around us. And what he focuses on, and he's got some really good material. Let me show you.
I could hear that. It was loud.
Oh.
Show you one of these from. Well, your Wi-Fi is pretty slow.
Thank you.
All right. Okay, so here's one of his videos. A sky full of these
orbs.
go back to orbs. Orb is a really abused term. He takes these with infrared cameras.
See, and like I was saying before, I've stared at infrared cameras for hours and hours upon
But you
hours.
can see
and
the
hours.
insects in his videos.
Correct. And anything in the air, the way those infrared cameras work, it's, you have a sensor on there that's emitting infrared light, and what it bounces, what reflects and what absorbs is what you see. So you're not actually seeing an image. What you're seeing is the reflection of the light that's being shown
Only
out from it.
infrared light.
Correct.
They don't reflect anything else. If I took a white light camera and put it on them, you still wouldn't see them.
Well, dust.
Take a flashlight.
Dust shows up in an infrared camera.
Dust will show up on a regular camera.
Black synthetic clothing is see-through on an infrared camera.
Infrared camera.
Just so you know.
I haven't ever done that, but
I have.
He's captured some
I don't think
really.
you knew that.
He's captured orbs moving along the front of a fence and casting a shadow
See,
on the fence.
what I would look at is, dust.
And look
will
at
cast a
that
shadow.
dust or orb. It's going behind his house.
See, but that's what I look for, or what would make me think. So to me, that looks like snow, actually. But
and this is in Florida.
yeah,
Here.
no, but I'm saying that looks like snow to me. But what I would look for is, as far as it being dust, are things going in opposing directions. Dust is going to float on an air current,
And these things move laterally so fast.
But
I've got them behind my house,
and
I'll
that's
film them all the time.
that's what causes, you know, when you see two things moving in opposite directions right near each other, that's there's something powering them at that point. They're not riding an air current.
And they kind of have a response more than an animal, less than a person. They'll come up to you, they'll head in your direction, they'll see you and immediately turn around and head off in the other direction.
Huh.
And these are reflecting infrared light.
Okay.
Now, let me give you another point of view. If I take a television remote control, point that on my face and press the power button, I see nothing because it uses infrared light.
Correct. Do it on
Agree
that
with
camera and you can see it.
That's what, right. Now, if I put that on my iPhone and look at it on the iPhone screen, I will still see nothing because the iPhone screen has got an optical filter in the camera filtering out that infrared light. They figure if nobody can see it anyway, why should we put it on the screen? If you have an Android phone, however, there's no optical filter. They're saving money by eliminating it. So you put your television remote control on the camera of an Android phone, you would see it flashing in the Android screen as white light.
Okay.
That's the same thing with these guys. You would see them with infrared, but you would not see them without infrared.
Okay.
So he and I have pretty much come to the agreement that these are actually living creatures. They're not in the spiritual world. And we can tell the difference between them and dust and insects. And they have a certain behavior characteristics about them, but we can't see them. We're not aware of them. They haven't discovered this creature yet.
Okay.
And I think there's many more types of these. Just like cuttlefish, they can change their color and so forth on the run. These creatures can do that as well.
Yeah, I mean, I can't even hold it up to the camera to see, but what the best way to describe what it looks like snow. It looks like it's snowing. I've seen snow a lot, and what?
I'm taking pictures, and I'm gonna mess with filters because I want to see stuff.
Oh, okay. And that's what it looks like. But if it's taken in Jacksonville, Florida, so it's definitely not snow. But that's
right.
What it looks like. It looks like snow, and a lot of our listeners know what snow looks like because they're from the Great White North.
And he's done this so much, and he's done it for so many years. This is sort of like his specialty.
Okay.
And he's definitely provided enough evidence so that he can see the insects moving across. And then here comes the orb into the picture. There's the trees I didn't see where the orbs went. But yeah, that's another category. And there was another type of creature that ribbon type thing.
Okay.
That's invisible to us. I wouldn't say they're spirits.
I'd like to take pictures in the dark and then like really, really, really turn up the brightness, like edit the brightness like to high resolution or whatever.
Oh, bring it into Photoshop, you mean?
Yeah, bring it into Photoshop and just just take pictures in the dark and like really, really, really like mess with them. And sometimes like things come out that you didn't see with just the naked eye or just even on your
Yes, I've done that with these creatures, and I find that they're different colors in different parts of the country.
Okay.
Here in Florida, they have one color pattern. Up in the mountains of Western Carolina, they're another color pattern. In Western Virginia, another. You can tell almost if you set up a table where in the country you are based on their color pattern.
Huh. That's interesting.
It is. There's a lot of things we don't know about.
Very interesting. It's almost time to start winding down. Did you have any further questions, Nikole?
I did not have any questions for our guest today. No,
that was it.
I asked him all
you
the
like
things.
pages and pages of notes.
Well, it's Florida man stuff and holidays and whatever.
Yeah, we kind of.
You want to read about them?
Do we want to do that, or we want to try and do 20 questions with Peter
for 15 minutes? We can throw
we
power.
can fire that out.
We have rapid fire. 20
questions. 20 questions. Right. Now these questions, and we like to ask them of all our guests. They range from the topical and light to the deep and philosophical.
You mind if I ask Spirit if I get stuck?
You may phone a friend. I don't know if we'll do the cash cab with the mobile shout out. It's kind of, I guess asking a Spirit could be a mobile shout out.
Yeah.
All right. So 20 questions. These are topical. Typically we ask these of most of our guests are comedians or other type of, performance artists. But let's see how you compare. There are no wrong answers. It's not anything you have to think about or search for information. These are really questions pertaining to you. So, number 1, what is your non-alcoholic drink of choice?
Biden's Alba iced tea.
All right. That's the plant he was talking about before.
Yes.
I remember this.
With a little ginger.
Like ginger or
Yeah,
like
shaved
ginger. Okay.
Ginger.
Nice.
I love ginger.
Ginger's refreshing.
That's what my current bath soap smells like.
Nice. Mine smells like, I think it's called Bear Glove.
I don't want to know what that is.
It's Old Spice.
Oh.
Anyway, number 2, what is your favorite color?
Oh, green. It can be so many things.
Yes, it can. Eggs and ham, especially. Number 3, dog or cat?
Cat.
Okay. Number 4, what is the strangest job you've ever had?
Strangest official job or any kind of job?
Something that you would either have received financial compensation or volunteer credit for.
Volunteer credit for.
I don't know if I would necessarily consider a hobby to be a job or you interpret it how you will.
I don't know. I don't do a lot of strange things in terms of jobs. I suppose giving a lecture to a group of ladies at the Land O'Lakes Library on the spirits of plants.
I would attend that sermon or
Sermon?
session.
Praise Dandelion.
I would
Especially Biden's Alba, my favorite.
Yes.
I would attend that lecture is what I meant to say.
Number 5, what is your biggest fear? What scares you?
That's the problem. I don't have any fear now.
No.
What's
What's funny is when my kids were really young, they were always afraid of seeing the boogeyman in the closet. And I taught my kids that the scariest thing in their room is me. And if the boogeyman was in the closet, I'd be charging his ass rent. I never had any problems after that. It's kind of cool. So, biggest fear. Something's got to scare you to some level.
Well, over our 20 years of marriage, my wife has done a few things that have scared me. She'll retract the steps on our motorhome so that in the morning when I get up and it's still dark and step out the door, I ended up doing a complete somersault.
I could see where that would
she
be a
has
fear.
a tendency of doing those kinds of things.
On purpose?
No, accidentally.
Is she
Oh,
is she
okay.
the one that controls your insurance policy? Just checking. Number 6. What is your guilty pleasure song? What song will you crank up the radio, but when you come to a stoplight, you got to lower it so nobody knows you're rocking out to it?
Wow. Well, I listen to classical.
Okay.
So, Nisam Dorma.
God bless you. Number 7. What fictional character do you most identify with?
Oh, fictional character. That's a good one. Geez, I don't know. One of the gurus. Someday I want to be a guru like Ram Dass. He just died last week, or Sadhguru in India, or one of those guys. They always seem to have an answer for everything.
Okay. Number 8. And like I said, these are going to get deep and philosophical. Vanilla or chocolate?
Chocolate, definitely.
All right. Go-to comfort food. The one thing that makes you feel all warm and fuzzy inside that's not spirit related.
Well, there's the thing, you know.
I had to throw that one in for the...
You know what Polish food is like?
Yeah.
Oh, man. Well, now I specialize in making vegetarian Polish food.
I eat
And
some.
so yeah.
I would love that. Sorry,
Oh,
I
I
would
make
I
some
would
good
I would
stuff.
eat it, but I can't shun kibasi, man.
Oh, I like mushrooms a lot. So I
mushrooms are good.
substitute mushrooms for kibasi a lot.
Mm.
But I'm on a couple of large groups in Facebook. One's called My Favorite Polish Recipes and a couple of others. And I'll take the recipe and I'll substitute things for it to make
Okay.
it vegetarian.
Okay. Now you're strictly vegetarian, not eating
Yeah.
meat at all? Okay.
No.
Pierogi is my favorite thing in the world.
Oh, yeah. And there's no meat. You know, potatoes and sauerkraut, pierogies.
I like the sweet cheese
Is
ones.
that
though.
the empanada thing?
You damn Cubans.
No, the pierogi. Isn't that the turnover
Looks like
hot
a tiny
pocket?
turnover. Yeah.
It is a pasta pocket half circle.
What is that thing that Jimmy made me that I sent you the picture of with the potato and the onions inside?
That was a knish.
Oh, okay.
Yes,
Sorry.
knishes are
Okay,
good
thank
too.
you. Sorry.
From a similar region.
I forgot my
Yes.
my foods.
That's all right.
Knishes are bigger though.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And the outside covering is a bit different.
Okay.
But Dan Gerlach made me some pierogies, and they were freaking ridiculous. Like ridiculous, homemade, handmade pierogi.
Ooh.
So good. All right. Number 10. What is your favorite cheesy movie?
Cheesy movie. Oh,
Cheesy
I probably
movie.
have watched Fifth Element, like my wife.
That one is
Yeah.
that's cheese.
I've probably
I
seen
love
that
That's cheese.
100 times.
Those
Number
costumes are amazing.
number 11. What is your favorite literary work? Favorite book?
Walt Whitman's Something in the Grass, or that
Okay.
one. Yeah.
Classic.
Yes.
Number 12. If you could have lived through any time period, what time period and why? And you can present day could be included in
I
that.
have.
True. The reincarnation. Okay.
You want me to pick which life I?
Yeah. Which life was your best life?
Wow. I
You
suppose
should be living your best life now, though.
Yeah, that's true. But they all have their own little.
Which one was the most fun?
Yeah, that's right. Well, I have a spirit gate guide by the name of Charlie, and I met him in London in the 1800s.
Okay.
So that was pretty neat, that life.
All right. Interesting. Number 13. What is your adult beverage of choice?
Again, Biden's all buys tea. I don't drink adult beverages.
Okay. All right.
I'm just a kid.
Hey, we don't stop playing because we got old. We get old because we stop playing.
Heard that.
Hell
But
yeah.
I have had a beer occasionally. My wife, yes.
There's nothing wrong with it. All right. Don't know how this, what you said you had, are you still married?
Yes.
Okay. If your wife gave you a celebrity free pass, like, so you could hook up with any celebrity, they'd be a willing participant, and you can't do it spiritually.
Well,
Who's your pick?
You mean hook up as in have sex with?
Yes.
Oh,
That's the dirtiest question I'm going to ask you. So
I've never got into celebrities like that.
most of the people we talk to are, comedians and
Yeah.
into that sort of thing.
Who's the most sexually attractive woman I have watched in the movies?
I mean, it doesn't necessarily have to be a movie celebrity. I mean, like Goddess Athena was pretty hot, so
I guess she could be considered a celebrity.
Yeah,
I
everybody
guess
knows
when
who
I
she
was
is.
a teenager, I watched Jane Fonda and Barbarella.
I remember that movie.
Wasn't that fantastic?
Oh yeah. Number 15, dream car. If you can have any automobile,
Dream car, yeah,
what
probably.
automobile tickles your fancy?
Any kind of Camaro. I like Camaros.
Yeah. I'm interested to see this. What was the first album you remember buying?
Oh, that's easy. The Beatles' White Album.
Yeah, good choice. Good choice. Number 17, what is the social cause you most stand for?
Ooh.
Free spirits.
Yeah, well, anti-racism, equality of wealth, financial.
Okay.
Those are pretty much my eliminating homelessness.
Okay.
Are you
Part
going to
of my
vote for Bernie
new-
Sanders?
We didn't get a chance to talk about.
What's that?
Are you going to vote for Bernie Sanders?
I'm not going to vote for him just because they sent me an unsolicited text message. What's
No,
going to happen is every candidate. Oh, I was going to say every candidate's going to send me one. So
I
I'm just
would
not
have
going to vote.
voted for Marianne Williamson,
Okay.
but of course she dropped out. But I was thrilled that someone like that could even run for the position.
Okay.
I like Tulsi Gabbard, actually.
I don't know who that is actually.
Chick from Hawaii.
Yes.
Combat vet.
Gotcha.
She hot. She's smart too, but
You
she's
just want a
hot.
hot president.
She
That's all
hot.
you want.
Yeah, I don't care. Doesn't matter who's going to be in. We're all screwed anyway.
Ain't that the truth?
Yeah, seriously. It's going to be just like South Park described. It's going to be it's always the choice between a giant douche and a turd sandwich. Every election.
Yes,
Those are your
the
options.
Earth's apocalypse already happened and destroyed the Earth. We're living in an illusion created by our consciousness.
I half believe that.
How high are you right now?
I'll tell you why I believe that. I know we've already been through. I know that the Earth has been destroyed many times over already. That's why I found an oyster shell in my backyard the other day for no reason.
Maybe somebody had oysters and they.
No, it wasn't. It was like it was like in the dirt.
Yeah, somebody who's probably eating oysters and dropped it and it stayed there.
I've showed you my fossilized clams and stuff. This was an old oyster shell. It
That just
wasn't.
sounded dirty. That's showing you my fossilized clam.
Cool. So it gets destroyed and we just create it over again.
Yeah, exactly.
That's it.
Exactly.
It's like redo.
I find oyster shells all the time.
It's like the cosmic creators or whatever. Like, nope, they screwed it up. Hit the reset button. Let them start over.
We
You see,
are
have
the
you-
cosmic creators.
Have you guys seen
God
have either of
damn.
you gentlemen seen The Good Place?
Yes.
Okay, I love that show.
It
That's
is-
how I
it's kind
feel.
of fun. Yeah.
They like it's like, oh, they screwed it up and they reset it. That's exactly what happened.
Yeah.
It's like
Yes.
we've been rebooted 863 times. Sorry.
Back to the list. Number
Sorry.
18. What is your favorite video game? Are you a video game guy?
Oh God, no, I'm not a gamer. But I mean, I played Pac-Man back in the day.
Yeah. I'm old enough where I remember playing Pac-Man on
Oh,
a
yeah, I'll tell ya.
coin-operated machine.
I
in an
played
arcade.
Adventurer before there was any graphics
Wow.
on CompuServe.
Now you're showing yourself. Your mom says Myst. That was not Myst was not only a great game, but Disney fact of the day. There's an island in Bay Lake, which is right by the Magic Kingdom. They were contemplating making a Myst themed attraction on this island. You had to take a boat over and puzzles and stuff.
That's cool.
Anyway, number 19. What is your dream job? You could have anything. I mean, you're
Yeah,
retired now.
Yeah, I kind of already said that. A guru. My goal is to help people spiritually,
Okay.
help them come out and admit the truth.
I see what you did there. Number 20. I don't know if there's anything you could top, but what is the most interesting, crazy, weird, bizarre fact about you?
That I'm Polish.
Nastorovia. Number 21. Is the earth round or flat?
It depends on what illusion we create of it.
But just remember that the Flat Earth Society has members all around the globe.
That's right. Right.
They posted that.
We follow the macro consciousness train of thought. So what we're told on the media is what we believe. So I
True.
guess I follow the round sphere for the earth,
I'm going to say it's a square.
the square.
Yeah.
That sounds good too.
Yeah. It's not only flat, but it's three-dimensional.
Or I
I
like
just
the thought.
imagine-
I like that somebody said on the internet that if it were flat, the cats would have pushed everything off
Yeah.
already.
That's accurate.
Yeah.
I have two more questions, and then Nicole's going to have a question for you. What did you want to be when you grew up? When you were a kid, looking up at looking at the potential of your life, what did you want to be most?
I always wanted to go into law enforcement.
Yeah,
Like, even all the way up into college, I wanted to go into it.
ghost
Fortunately, I
cop.
did.
Ghost cop.
Yeah.
I have two questions.
And
Oh,
the-
sorry, you had one more.
I have one more.
Okay.
iPhone or Android?
iPhone.
We can't be friends, man.
You're an Android?
Yeah,
Oh. But Android is just the operating system. What phone do you have?
Samsung.
Oh,
You know the same
Galaxy.
company. You
Yeah.
know the same company that made the screen that's on your phone.
Yes.
Yes. Steve Jobs was a dick. I didn't like him, so fuck Apple.
There goes that word again.
See? I'm sorry, he was a penis. Nicole Olio's got some questions for you.
Do you think that we're ever going to run cars off of spirit energy?
What kind of spirit energy? Wow.
Yeah.
Like grind them up in a blender and light them on fire, kind of.
No,
'Cause that'd be
like-
like messed up.
Like we have electric cars, we have hydro powered cars, we have gas powered cars.
We already run them off of somewhat of spiritual energy.
What do you mean?
Elongated muskrat took care of that with the electric car. All you have to do is meditate. Electric joke.
But
Ohms,
the answer is
measure
yes.
of resistance.
Oh, gotcha.
Yes, and
Jesus.
we won't need cars.
Okay. You don't think that we can like put a little ghost in, go to the gas station and be like, I'd like one ghost,
If we
please?
can get to the point of harnessing spiritual energy, we won't need the physical car.
That's fair. That's fair.
Here's the problem with that, though. People are so stupid. You have like spirits just bumping into each other because they're idiots. They don't know how to drive. They don't know how to float through the.
They're ethereal. They go through each other.
I can see so many
There won't
things.
be any bumping.
Bumping and grinding.
How does that work?
Spiritually.
Can we fuck in the afterlife? Sorry.
I don't know. I saw a video earlier where this
I
woman
put
was
a post up on ghost sex on the
Yeah.
site the year last.
and
Oh,
this
okay,
this
that's
this woman was. She said that she opened her mouth and a ghost put the ghost dick in her mouth, and then they exorcised that demon.
All right, Virgin Mary.
It's the immaculate contraption.
Okay. Can I ask my last question?
Last question. We're
Last
almost out
question
of
is,
time.
Peter, can you take us through a typical day in the life of Peter?
Ooh, an ideal day. Well, I usually try to start it off with meditation and scrying.
Okay.
I usually do a protection ritual called the Lesser Banishing Ritual of the Pentagram,
Mm-hmm.
and the Kabbalistic cross is part of all that process. And then I'll go out and do a hike in the woods, which includes meditating because I'm talking with certain spirit friends while I'm going through the forest. And if it's a day I teach, I'll have a couple classes to teach at a local HCC. And those are my typical days.
What's your like wind down evening routine? You don't have to go into too much detail if there's personal things in there. So
I sleep a lot.
okay, that's fair.
So I have to have a nap before I go to bed.
Yeah, okay.
Nothing wrong with a nap.
No, I take lots of naps.
Yes.
I love naps.
I'll watch whatever my wife is typically watching, the Voice or whatever, and fall asleep.
Okay.
See, I'm smart. I don't have a TV in my bedroom. So I'll come home. My wife will be watching those like Hallmark romance movies. I'll just go to bed.
I've been watching movies a lot lately.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What have you
Movie's
seen?
good.
Have you seen The Joker?
I'm gonna watch it tonight because my
it's
friend
good.
has it and I'm gonna borrow it.
I want to see it, and I don't like those kind of movies. I don't care for them.
I'm gonna.
But I want to see. You know why I want to see that? Because what comedy club did they film it at?
that one.
Boom.
That one.
Dangerfield.
Really?
Yeah, the comedy club scenes were filmed at Dangerfields.
Really?
Yeah.
Didn't know that. It's a great movie,
I'm
though.
gonna borrow
That's
it.
what I heard.
I was talking about it last night with somebody, and they're like, "You should come borrow it." And I said, "Okay."
Flip it around. Fuzzy side in. Nope. Long ways down. Just give it to me. All right. So, final wrap up. Peter,
Yes.
what are your last words of inspiration to the people?
Drop your fear and believe in love, and don't be afraid of spirits.
I can dig
And
it.
don't be afraid to see them.
I can dig it. I see spirits. I go home. I look at my bar. There's Spiritus. It's right there. That's Polish.
We haven't gotten anywhere with you this session, have we? Is
A little
bit,
Is there anything I convinced you of? Or even cracked the surface? Where there's a
Well, lean back so
possibility-
you're talking into the microphone.
Where there's a possibility of a doubt.
I wouldn't say you've made major changes, but we'll say that baby steps may have been made. different different angle of looking at things, and which is baby steps, man. Are you appearing anywhere, giving lectures that are open to the public that you'd like to?
I didn't get a chance to talk about it, but I opened a physical facility called Spirit Studio in Land O'Lakes.
Okay.
It's dedicated to helping spiritual people learn and expand their psychic abilities.
What was
Okay.
the name one more time?
Spirit Studio.
Spirit Studio.
Yes. I put the announcement and details up on the site.
Okay, I'll
If you
share.
want.
I'll share it around.
Okay. If you wanted to find it. We had an open house on Sunday night.
Okay, how'd that
First
go?
open.
Good turnout.
Good turnout. A lot of interesting people.
Nice.
I think it's going to be great. We had a tarot reader there that was just mesmerizing, giving tarot readings to people.
Nice.
Yes.
Nice. Well, good luck.
Thank you.
What's the address? Fire the address off for those. that are listening.
It's 20346 Leonard Road in Land O'Lakes.
There you go. If you're in the neighborhood, go check it out. Absolutely. Nikole,
Yes, Roger.
what's your schedule?
You can catch me go-go dancing this month at Gaspar's Grotto in Ybor and at Marquee in St. Pete, belly dancing at Acropolis in South Tampa every Friday night, and like to promote K2's show, which is happening on February 23rd in Monserc Wine Bar in Sebring, and we also have a show on February 23rd.
Nice.
Yes.
Okay, so
Oh yeah, sorry. And you can find me on the internet at Instagram at Nikole_Raven, NIKOLE_RAVEN, and you can find the full schedule of events there.
yeah.
Okay.
As far as my schedule coming up, February 8th is my next show. So February 8th, Beef O'Brady's in Parrish, Florida. We're gonna go rock the house down there. 2 shows, 4 o'clock, 7 o'clock. Get with them, Beef O'Brady's Parish, for tickets and further information. On the 13th, the show's open to the public, but we'll be doing a show at the Haley Veterans Hospital for veterans. It's Salute the Veterans Day. We're going to be doing a show in the main auditorium there. I think they call it the auditorium. So at the Veteran Center, just pay attention. I'll be posting stuff. It is open to the public. It is a free show, and come out. We're going to make some vets in the hospital laugh. The 22nd of February with John Butera at Bellagio Theater in Tampa, and the 23rd somewhere in Hollywood, Florida, as soon as Nikole tells me the final location.
It's going to be at Woody's Tavern, which I don't remember the address, but it's on Hollywood Boulevard in downtown Hollywood, Florida.
Stay tuned.
Right around Young Circle.
Stay tuned for further details on that one.
Yeah.
You can find me on the Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, all that stuff at Real Roger Nelson. Don't forget to follow, like, share, subscribe to this show on all the social media at FooBar Weekly, or find our YouTube page and follow and like, share, and subscribe. That's it. I'm out of wind. Anything else you want to say? Any final thought?
That'll do it. Me and my spirit are tired.
Yeah. It's nap time. Nikole.
FooBar out.